Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is the Turkey Creek to my Texas Jack. It's John Levingood.
Why can't I be like a crazy Bill?
These guys got it made. Texas Jack and Turkey Creek, right? In the beginning of the movie, you meet them, they're killing a guy. And then they're like, oh, self-defense. It's fine. We're good. Then later on, they go up to Wyatt, and they're with Michael Rooker, and they're like, hey, we'll join you guys. McMasters and I will join you. And then Texas Jack and Turkey Creek just ride around murdering people. And then they just go somewhere else to go kill people. They don't lose anything. They don't really gain anything. They're just kind of, ride or die. They love it.
Back in a time before the internet and usernames and handles and stuff like that they were so embracing of their nicknames.
I mean,
like Doc Holliday, and why can't I think? And what was Bill's nickname?
Curly
Bill, Texas Jack. Like, they were embracing their nicknames.
If you and I had nicknames out in the Wild West, what would they be? What would you be, John? Like, what would you be? Jersey John?
That, or, well, given the way that people were dimensioned back then, I might just be called Tank.
Tank?
Oh wait, they didn't even have tanks back then, did they?
Yeah, not when this was, because tanks started, like, they really started getting used during World War I, correct? Like, very...
Oxplow John.
Yeah.
You'd be the Swede.
Yeah, the Swede. I'd be, cookie.
The long Swede.
Yeah, the Swede. Yeah, I'm the Swede, and I'm here to shoot you. Just walking around eating cookies, chocolate, and shooting people. So you'd have to ride a huge horse.
The accent doesn't sound intimidating, but then you go watch Die Hard and you're like, no, wait, that's legit.
Well, here's the thing. That's why you want to have this accent. If you walked around talking like Turkey Creek, people are going to be like, this guy's seen some things. But if you walk into a place like the Three Amigos, right, My Little Buttercup, and you're just going, oh, yeah, hi, yeah, I'll shoot you. Like, people aren't going to be intimidated. And then you shoot them. And then everyone goes,
look at my red sash.
Yeah. I don't understand this guy. I think he's from Europe or something. He's a Viking, but he's scary. That's you throw people off with the chocolate, IKEA. I apologize to any Swedes. I want you to know that I go to IKEA every year and renew my furniture making license, just to let you know. So I keep that going. So John, it's our 225th episode.
So we're probably going to talk about Kurt Russell.
Every 25th episode, we talk about a Kurt Russell movie. So that's like our tradition. And we had a poll on Movies, Films, and Flicks. And Tombstone just steamrolled everyone. And then I put up a thing on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook. I was like, hey, we're going to be talking about Tombstone. Can we get some questions? And so, John, this is our 225th episode, right? We've gotten beautiful questions before. But these might be some of the most well-thought-out questions. You know what I mean?
People were offering suppositions to justify their questions.
Like, they were giving us big, they were like, I have a very long answer to some of these, and they're great.
I will say the only time that these questions were distinctly eclipsed in number and or quality was Sea Beasts.
Yeah.
Because Sea Beasts, we literally got like 50 questions, and now I think we got like 15 or so pithy ones, but like we had like 50.
Yes. So if you go back through our Sea Beast tournament, 2-part Sea Beast tournament, we not only figured out the greatest Sea Beast ever, but we also answered about 50 questions.
A lot of questions. I think 15 were just from Dave Thompson.
We fit it in 4 hours.
That's right.
That's impressive.
Everything you ever wanted to know about cinematic Sea Beasts.
I hardly had to edit that thing. There were no gaps. We had no time for breath in those episodes. We just had to keep talking, keep moving forward. So what do you think about this? I mean, we're going to talk about Tombstone, but we have so many good listener questions. I think we could really talk about a lot of this movie with the questions, and then we can talk about whatever we left out after the questions. What do you think?
Absolutely. We sure can. And yeah, of course, I hope that by now someone has seen Tombstone. If you hadn't seen Tombstone, normally we'd say like, hey, you should pause this, go watch Tombstone and come back. But if you haven't watched Tombstone by now, you probably need to hear our love for it to decide to go see it anyway. So I guess you're good. But we're going to be all over the place.
Yeah, you've been holding this back for 25 years. Like you need to. Well, I guess if you're younger than that. But so basically, to sum it up, Tombstone's about old Blue Eyes, Kurt Russell, and Val Kilmer just lighting up a ton of people, gang members who wear red sashes.
Yep. The movie disclaims to be the earliest form of large-scale organized crime in America.
Which, I mean, this is the late 1800s. I don't buy that. I mean, you had
I
New
mean-
York, dude. You had.
I mean, it's 1879. I mean, I don't know how big all the Boss Tweed stuff was when that started up, but yeah,
like, you start hearing about what the St. Valentine's Day massacre with, in Chicago out there. That's later on, of course. So that hadn't happened yet. You can't have New York and you can't have coastal cities without some form of a crime syndicate.
I mean, there's always going to be it, of course, right?
Yeah.
Smuggling, this, that, and the other. The smuggling, even if smuggling is the bread and butter, it turns into some, secondary ancillary crimes that go, oh, we got witness, oh, we got to kill these people, we got to bribe these people, now we need these people, now we got to rough these people up to make sure they fit. And before you know it, it's a whole thing, even if your whole goal was just smuggling.
Wait, what about...
Han Solo was a smuggler. He's shooting first. He's going over the galaxy. They're killing Sith.
When did Gangs of New York take place? The Martin Scorsese picture.
That is
Right?
I mean, if it was after, it couldn't have been by much, right?
Yeah. So
if it was after,
it's got to be. That's an interesting question, John.
So I wonder if maybe, let's just say that the statement was accurate in the intention of the narrator. Maybe it's accurate in terms of the geography that they covered with their syndicate
in that area, in that state,
right? Because they covered a lot of area. They once mentioned that there were well over 100 of them, but like we never see or hear about more than like 6 or 12 at a time as being a huge number of cowboys to deal with.
They're so spread out.
Yeah, and it's funny to me also that this group of bad guys call themselves the Cowboys, because that sounds, I guess it's, growing up as a kid and, John Wayne's the good guy, that in my head the Cowboys are the good guys. But I guess when you're looking at these Wild West times and just how deadly those times were, and they're talking about in the movie anyway, I'm pretending this is like real history, right? In the movie they're saying that in these boom towns that crime was rampant and that murder rates were, they said this in the movie, that murder rates were higher than the big cities. Maybe that's a per capita statement if it's accurate.
Yeah.
But like, you were recently discussing Young Guns and what would probably be like 5 or 10 or 15 episodes prior to this number, and talking about how when you deputize a 19-year-old, you just look at what kind of behavior you might get out of them in the Wild West.
I mean, you give the Swede when he's 19 a sheriff or deputy badge. I'm gonna run around shooting people.
And I mean, we have Wyatt Earp rolling into Tombstone, right? And he's retired, and he's like adamant about him being retired. How old is Wyatt Earp here? Like early 30s?
Yeah, he was 42 when the movie filmed. I wasn't quite sure of his exact age during this time. I should have looked that up. But yeah.
I imagine. I mean, I guess that anyone with Google can go look up in 1879 how old Wyatt Earp was, but he couldn't have been that old.
That's old. At that time.
That's old, right?
Yeah.
That's old.
Gee, well, old Blue Eyes, man, he ages differently than us.
He does, especially when you see him a few years later in the movie Soldier, which of course we also covered.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, in our 200th episode.
He looked very lithe in this. Of course, when you're wearing like black suits, it's easy to look even slimmer than you are, but he looked very lithe.
Well, the directors, they made him wear a lot of wool clothing, so I bet a lot of people were sweating. Well, the 3 directors that they had on this movie.
Got even smaller as the movie was made.
Yeah, they just kept shrinking during this.
His mustache was the muscle behind his swing.
That's right. So, like in this movie, this screenwriter who wrote Glory, Kevin Jarre was directing it. Then he got booted, and they brought in George P. Cosmatos, who did Rambo 2, Cobra, Leviathan. But then Kurt Russell did a lot of the directing, and then George P. was just there kind of helping Russell do it all.
I just thought it was George Cosmatos.
Cosmatos. Yeah. So
I just thought it was him.
No, they started a month in, then they fired him, and then they did a lot of the reshoots.
Interesting. And Russell got behind there. This isn't one of those movies, like especially when there are these rewrites in Hollywood for huge pictures where the producers get over involved or the studio gets over involved, and then like you hear they fired this writer, now there's a rewrite, and then they switched or they switched directors, and when we watch, you're like, yeah, it didn't feel like it had a lot of synthesis. I can see how this was a problem. This movie, like I wouldn't have imagined they having those problems. This worked really well for me.
Yeah, I think they had a great skeleton with the original script. The guy who wrote it, it was a very beautiful script on all accounts, and that's what got him the directing job because the script was so good. But the problem was, a week in, he was already 3 weeks behind schedule. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know how you kind of hear about that. This was his directing debut. He had a massive ensemble cast, very good screenwriter, but I guess he just wasn't experienced enough for this. There's not too much about it. But yeah, you're right. To be that kind of movie, there's a lot of cohesion to it. It doesn't feel like a pinball movie at all.
But I guess the cast though, I mean, I should even just say the characters. So when we were talking about True Lies very recently, we were talking about how almost everyone in this it's not an ensemble movie, but it felt like one because all the stars had like so many moments. Well, this movie has all these characters, and even the most minor characters are very memorable to me. I feel like you could do a 60-second character piece on all the characters in this movie who aren't main cast.
I mean, yeah, we opened up this podcast talking about Turkey Jack.
Well, I mean, the bartender whose name I don't remember, right? But even the bartender, I remember so many things just about the bartender, so many things about Ike, so many things about so many of the characters. Maddie is really significant in this. Not that she's a totally minor character, but Wyatt Earp's wife. Like, there's a lot going on there with that. There's a lot going on with his brother. There's just, I don't know, man. And the sheriff, the marshal, and the mayor. Like, all these people are just people that would normally be throwaways in a movie like this.
I mean, and then you have Stephen Lang as Ike. He gets a full character development. He just almost gets shot, runs away. Then he finally quits. Like, he gets, like,
isn't it weird seeing Stephen Lang not play someone who's actually tough?
Yeah, or like just ripped out of his mind, right? He had quite the flip, didn't he?
I was just gonna say he was the ultimate scoundrel.
I give up. I quit. And then he just comes right back at you, and you're like, dang it. Billy Bob Thornton had a great side character in this.
Oh, God. What a great, memorable character. He's in that one, well, I mean, it's not a short scene, right? Yeah. But he's in that one extended scene, if you will, that then goes out into the street.
You're back in town,
That
Doc.
was rich.
Yeah. I mean, that was a fully formed character. And they actually let him improvise a lot of his takes just to be in there to be a bully. So he was in there just talking. Was
standing there bleeding? Was that improvised?
Oh, no. That's what Kurt Russell, that was one of the greatest lines. And we'll talk about that later. Oh, my gosh. He's going to stand there and bleed. If you just said that to somebody, they should just fall over. They should be like the henchman from Austin Powers and Goldmember, where Michael Caine tells the henchman to just lay down.
God, yeah, that was a great character. There are very few characters in this movie that have more than a line that I don't think were great.
And do you think it's another... Kurt Russell is so... I like him because a lot of actors would have been annoyed at how showboaty Doc Holliday was, but he loved it. Like, the people around him, he didn't mind. Like, I think if someone's strong around you, you just roll with it. I feel like that's Kurt Russell's MO.
Yeah, it's funny. Kurt Russell's a tough guy, right? And that opening scene really showed us, how comfortable he is in his tough guy shoes, because he knew nothing about Billy Bob Thornton's character. Right?
Yeah.
He calls him a youngster twice, which I found a little comical because he looked older than him. But he calls him a youngster twice, but he just goes right up to this stranger who has dilapidated all form of good business under this roof, right? Dominating the poker table, bullying everyone around. Russell just goes right over with full confidence. He taunts the guy multiple times to throw down and pull out his gun and see what happens. Slaps him 3 times in the face.
Man.
And waits. He's waiting. Think about it. If you were Billy Bob Thornton's character, you had every opportunity to move first.
Yep, because you're basically being challenged.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Russell was almost behaving. He wasn't being he was behaving like a bully. The bully does not expect his target to ever swing back.
So, I mean, Kurt Russell, Kurt Russell read him pretty quick. Like, he was a talker, not a doer. But he was a doer because he chased everyone out of there.
I think he might have been a doer, though, because, I mean, he was a little physical with people. We heard that he kept hitting the dealers and stuff. Like, I mean, there was probably a scuffle at some point. It's just that Kurt Russell so out-leagued him.
Mm-hmm. Now, how strong is Billy Bob Thornton's cheek? Because his face didn't fly off when he got slapped by Kurt Russell.
I mean, Kurt Russell was not exactly soldier big, though, so it was really just demoralizing at that point.
Yeah, but that's why this movie is rich, and I feel like that's why it holds up, is, we got these questions, and there's a lot of different questions about the different actors and different scenarios and different lines. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, people remember so much about this movie, and I think that's why it's lived on as much as it has. I mean,
and I've seen the movie a lot lately. It's been on HBO a lot, and this is one of those movies that I always loved, so I'll always love it, even if when I grow up it turns out to not be as great as I remembered it being. This is every bit as great as I remember it being.
just likable people, good action, memorable characters, classic lines.
Holds up really well. Yeah, and you were saying about Kurt Russell or Wyatt Earp, that is, being so comfortable around Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday, but like we also learn from Wyatt Earp in this, and this surprises me if this is true or what the context is. But he was saying that in his whole career as a lawman, he only ever had to throw down in a gunfight once.
Mm-hmm.
And he was even saying, and I took that man's life. He said man's life. It was one guy. So but he had this big reputation. So now I'm wondering, like, what was the reputation for? Or was it for some off the clock things he was doing or what?
Do you think he was just respected out there? I mean, he probably earned his name through some things, and then people just respected him out there. I think that's how your name, because when people talked about him, they didn't really talk to him with fear. They're just like, oh, we know about you. So do you think it was like a respect out there?
Maybe. I mean, if once every few months he pulled a Billy Bob Thornton scene out of his hat, that never came down to a gun, and that would certainly get your reputation. But it's like when I've seen this movie like 20 times. This most recent time I watched it, right before this, our recording, is the one time that I caught him say, one time, he had to throw down in a gunfight, and he took that man's life.
You were saying that to Bill Paxton, Morgan.
Yeah, and he was even saying, like, you don't know what it's like to live with that. Like, that's the one time that's happened. Now he's in Tombstone. He's killing half the bad guys in town.
No!
Dude, him saying no is the best.
Everyone just missed. I need to do that. Mark, you're fired.
He said no to the bullets, like Keanu Reeves.
Like, he just channeled Arnold Schwarzenegger from Commando.
Right.
Just missed me. Now, I want to do something real quick. I ranked the mustaches in this movie, John.
Oh.
All right, so.
Is Kurt Russell number one?
No, it's Sam Elliott. Anytime Sam Elliott is around, he's one.
Well, because that just looks like Sam Elliott's real mustache all the time.
Yeah, I mean, he grew that. He shaved that thing the next day it was there.
Yeah.
That's just what he does. And then number 2, you're gonna go crazy on this. Powers Booth.
He had a good mustache. He really did.
And I loved how
great mustache.
He and so Curly, Bill, and Ringo, they both had the little patch underneath their mustache. None of the heroes had it, but the villains did, which is kind of a funny little touch. Number 3 is Kurt Russell.
Doc Holliday?
Yep. Doc Holliday. Yep. Well, he's kind of a cad, right? Number 3 is Kurt Russell. I loved it. A strong mustache. We've seen better. All right. 4 is Michael Biehn. I thought that thing looked cool. Val Kilmer didn't really have to do much, but still looked good. And then Bill Paxton was just kind of a caterpillar. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'm happy with these mustaches. You?
Yeah. I mean, I'd even put the bartenders over Bill Paxton's.
Oh yeah, that thing was legit. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Sam Elliott, man, you just can't go against that mustache. You just can't.
No, yeah. His just always looks lived in, and especially watching Kurt Russell our whole lives, we've seen him with so many crazy mustaches now. With
Hateful Eight.
With Hateful Eight. You know what's funny is that now when I watch Tombstone, I'm like, I remember the mustache being bigger. His mustache is big, but once you've seen Hateful Eight, it's like a puny little mustache.
And I think that affected my rankings as well. I kind of said, well, he's capable of more. Does that make sense?
I mean, I sort of I think that mustache, when I was younger, I used to think if you put it on an old doctor's scale, it would weigh as much as a human heart. And now I don't think that. Now it's like, no, that's Hateful Eight mustache.
If you put that thing on my head, I'd have a mohawk.
Your neck would get thicker just from carrying that.
Hey, I mean, think about it, yeah. I think that's why they call him the hangman, because he couldn't be hung because of his mustache was so strong. Because his neck, whenever they tried to drop him, his neck was so strong, and his mustache would get in the way. You know, Phantom of the Opera. They're like, keep your hand up next to your neck so you can't get a noose around it. That's what Kurt Russell's mustache did for him.
That's right. Kept the noose from getting all the way around.
I like it. That's a new theory, John. Associate producers. All right. So hey, do you want to jump into some of these questions?
Let's get into them.
All right. So William Cook, who just won a tournament on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook to pick the next tournament that we put up on there. And he already gave me 8 movies he wants to be in the tournament. So William Cook, so he asked us this question before he knew he won. That's how good of a guy he is. So his question is, I did a presentation on the historical accuracy of this film in my 11th grade American history class. I was surprised. Perhaps address some questions around this comparison. So, John, did you read anything about how accurate this movie is?
No. And honestly, for me, it was, as you've heard a lot of my commentary, I'm very bemused by this is what the movie said. I have no idea if this is how this would really be. So, no.
All right. So they said it follows the events in order. It does a good job. But he said the Cowboys weren't that organized. I found another thing that said the shootout at the OK Corral took place in 1881. Virgil Earp was shot in the arm 2 months later. It wasn't during that. They said after the shooting, Morgan, Earp, and friends did roam the country chasing those, but they feel like they only killed like 2 people. There's no evidence that they killed anyone else. John Ringo was not a great gunfighter. The Massacre of the Medic.
Wait, whoa.
That's what I'm reading here. There's no evidence that he ever killed anybody. He grew up on a farm, and he did not get killed by Doc Holliday or Wyatt Earp, because they were in Colorado when he got killed in the mountains. The Massacre at the Mexican Wedding was made up, that they said. They did say that the Virgil was the family's real lawman, while Wyatt was more interested in gambling and mining. The OK Corral scene is close to most eyewitness accounts. They didn't quite know who had guns and didn't know who had guns or who started it. They knew that the Earps weren't squeaky clean, but they're good protagonists in this. So this movie, it like sticks to it, but it doesn't matter either. They follow certain events.
I'd say Virgil was, for most of the story, more distinctly the lawman.
No, that's what they said.
He was significant.
Well, in the beginning, remember they said that Kurt Russell was the lawman, but he wanted nothing to do with it. No one ever said, Virgil, he was tough.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I kind of mean just in the timeline of this movie, like of this fragment of their life.
Oh, yeah,
I misunderstood that. Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, they said, but, he was primarily, but in this one, they made it seem like Doc or Wyatt was the guy. But there's nothing especially egregious, and you'd have to tell a story, too. You have to make it action-oriented. It has to, yeah, I mean, and there's really, and the thing with the OK Corral that gives you some, there's eyewitness accounts, but they're all kind of different. So, which one do you go off of, or you just make your own? So...
Right, and he said that was 1881, but we don't really know how long they were there. It feels fast, right? You could convince yourself, if you only saw this movie once 10 years ago, you could convince yourself that this movie took place over the course of a couple weeks. But they get there, they move into a place, they start, Wyatt Earp starts working for 25% of the house take this one place. Then they end up going and looking for their own plot. Then they start their own business. They were looking for plots. They were going to build up. Who knows how long that took, because that was a nice place that they built. So then they've had that business for a while. They've had that business so long that he's talking about Maddie, about just getting out of here and selling everything. And they're established. So if this movie started in fall of 1879, I would not find it a far stretch at all for that fight at the OK Corral to have been at the beginning of 1881.
Yeah, and I mean, it takes forever to get things moved. They had their entire apartments were built up. You had...
we never know how long anything takes in this movie, though.
Yeah, I mean, traveling cross country or riding 100 miles to hunt for somebody, that's a long trip. That's not... Yeah. So, I mean... I read 5 separate articles, and they're like, yeah, obviously it doesn't, but it kind of does, so it's really not that bad. There's no one really slamming their fists on the table yelling about it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
All right, do you want me to read the next one, or do you want to do the next one?
You go. You take control of all the questions.
All right, sounds good. This one's from
Dylan
Rostron. I don't want to say his nickname because I'll get it wrong. So, if you had to recast this film with today's stars, who would be the Earp brothers, Holliday and Curly Bill? Bonus points, whoever plays Doc Holliday's miss. So, I got this. Do you want to? I'll let you go first. Who do you got?
Okay, I mean, I've got a lot of ideas. My ideas are maybe what I would call the some predictable choices, and I'm mostly giving. It's more this combination of actors that I want to see, but I'll assign them roles.
Okay.
Wyatt Earp, Chris Pine. For Hell at High Water, it makes me think. I think Chris Pine could pull a good Wyatt Earp. In Bill Paxton's role, I'd want to see Chris Evans. He can play a squirrely guy. In Virgil's role, I'd like to see Hugh Jackman as the older brother.
Hey.
Doc Holliday. I could see Ben Foster or Ryan Gosling.
Ooh.
Yep. For Curly Bill, I'm thinking a Christian Bale or even a squirrely, villainous Hemsworth, now that I've seen the Bad Times at the El Royale. Ringo, probably waiting for me to say it the whole time, Zac Efron.
Oh, brother.
And then for like Maddie and our actress, and I can't think of her name, the Hungarian prostitute that travels with Holiday. I could see like Jess Steele with a Doc Holliday. I could see Imogen Poots as either Maddie or our traveling actress, to be honest.
Yeah.
She's got a good look that she could pull off either the desperate or the competent actress, sensational actress. And bear with me here, for either the role of Ike or Billy Bob's early role, I'd really like to see a totally out of his comfort zone Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, brother. Just getting slapped around by Chris Pine.
Hey, you'll notice I did not cast The Rock anywhere in there. The Rock is Wyatt Earp's horse.
No, it's Tank. He plays Tank.
He plays Tank.
All right.
What do you got for some of these picks?
All right, so I basically just cast the cast of Bone Tomahawk because I love that movie. So I have as Wyatt Earp, I have Patrick Wilson. He can pull a mustache off. I think he'd be good in that role. Kind of just wanting to make that money. For Doc, I had to bring in someone new, so I brought in Chris Pine. You had him for Wyatt. I had him for Doc Holliday.
I could see. Yeah, I can see that.
For Virgil, I just cast Richard Jenkins, the guy from Bone Tomahawk who wants to read books on a musical stand. I think he'd be good. As Morgan, I cast Matthew Fox because he was awesome in Bone Tomahawk, right? And then I cast Timothy Olyphant as Curly Bill.
Ooh, I like that.
And then,
especially with that big smile.
Yeah, I think he would be awesome. He knows from Deadwood. He knows the country thing. Ringo, this one's kind of out of left field, but I really like that show, The Bodyguard. And this guy's also one of the Starks. But Richard Madden, because after watching him in Bodyguard, he plays smart, he plays kind of squirrely, and he plays sort of dangerous. So I would love to see Ringo against Chris Pine go off match up against Madden. I think they could pull off the really cool, the Latin, like back and forth, and the gunfight at the end. I think that'd be good. And then I just brought in Lily Simmons, who's Patrick Wilson's wife in Bone Tomahawk, to play Doc's missus. So I think she'd be good hanging out with Chris Pine. So I cast the cast of Bone Tomahawk, brought in Oliphant and Patrick, and people I like. So we kind of did the same thing, John.
A part of me almost wanted to take the entire cast of 3:10 to Yuma and have them remake this.
Oh yeah. I mean,
like it took everything in me because you saw I had Ben Foster and Christian Bale in there. It's like it took everything in me not to also put Russell Crowe in there because I mean those movies pair really well together, for
sure.
A double feature.
Who's the big guy? Oh, Kevin McDonald, the big dude that gets killed off in 3:10 to Yuma. He'd be good as like Ike. He's too big though.
Kevin, you don't mean was Kevin Durand?
Yeah, Kevin Durand. He might be too big though because he's like 6'4". He'd be a giant amongst those guys.
Yeah, he'd be tough. He'd have to be like you'd never really believe him in a physical chest to chest confrontation with any of our good guys.
Or him like cowering away, like Ike.
Yeah, although I mean he has played really squirrely once though in the movie Captive, where he was the guy who kidnapped Ryan Reynolds' daughter. He played an interesting, I guess, pedophile kidnapper.
Oh, geez.
But again, that's tough. And he had to wear, long sleeve, loose fitting things and lose a lot of weight to be even remotely convincing. He was always slouching. You never saw him stand next to one of our protagonists. He got that role because he was like, guys, can I really act? Can I just act and not be the big guy?
Oh. And he was in X-Men Origins with Ryan Reynolds as well.
That's right. He was the Blob.
Jeez, the connection, man. Yeah, that dude's huge. He'd have to be skinny Kevin Durand to do that. But I think either way, man, we got a movie I'd like to see. Imagine. Yeah, that's a big one. All right, so you ready for the next question?
I'm up. I'm ready.
This is from Bradley Gerber, and he put, if you took out maybe this one was controversial. If you took out maybe 4 memorable and quotable lines, how much would the movie still hold up? Sure, stylist. Okay. I love this question. Sure, stylistically it's neat, but sometimes when it's on, I feel like it's passing time until the next line. That line was a good one too. Which is an interesting bit, and it gave me something to chew on, which I like, John.
But I feel like if you took out 4 memorable lines, there would still be 44 more incredibly quotable lines. Like, you can't go very long in this movie without one.
No, I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's why I kind of thought, like, if you take out I'm Your Huckleberry, you could just have him saying, like, I'll be your dance partner, right? Switch it up.
But he's got loads. It's like, oh, I was just fooling. I wasn't.
Yeah. Or
You look
now,
like somebody just walked over your grave.
this guy's smart. I hate him. And then I also put out, like, Wyatt Earp. The Cowboys are finished, you understand? I see a red sash, I kill the man wearing it. So run, you cur. Tell the other curs the law's coming. And you tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me. You could just have him going, I'm gonna kill all of you. Like, and then you wouldn't have missed much, right?
Yep.
I'm Kurt Russell. I'm angry.
There's so many great lines. So I don't personally know Bradley, but I can't help but to wonder, like, how many times has he seen the movie, really sat down to watch it? You know what I mean? Like, in the last few years, because if you would ask me a few years ago, back when I would see the movie like once a year, but I just have it on HBO while I'm folding laundry or cooking or something, you know, like, I would have thought, oh yeah, like there are 4 or 5 or 6 really great quotable lines. But now that I've watched it 3 times, start to finish, in the last couple of weeks, like, there are loads of lines. And these aren't things that I'm just picking up on now. They're things that I've quoted over the years. I just forgot how many quotables there were in this. So, I mean, I think that, you know, except for when, like, Dana Delaney and Kurt Russell are riding horses and having a picnic and she's trying to talk him out of his wife. Like, of course, there are no great lines in that whole 10 minutes, in my opinion.
That was an interesting subplot. He has an obviously sick wife who's addicted to a drug, and instead of maybe spending time with her and being like, hey, you're sick, maybe we should think of other options for you, he's just sort of, hey, don't drink that, it's bad for you. Like, he's not a good husband.
You know, he really yo-yos, and I don't mean inconsistent character. I mean, it's just like the way a human might yo-yo, because like, and I pay a lot of attention to this particular aspect the last time I watched. So when it really pops up to me strongly the first time, where it really hits a note for me, it like hits a chord. They're walking out. They saw the theatrical performance. 2 husbands are going to go home with their wives. Maddie says, yeah, come stay with me. She's trying, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just habitual, though. I'm not saying it's a blow off, but he's like, well, honey, I got to go to work. But then when he tries to round back, it's kind of like she's already felt scorned. So she completely resists me. She says, oh, I could come for a little bit, this, that, or the other. It's okay. And then she's like, no, it's fine. You go. But she really tried there. And that was the one time that she really tried in the movie that we get to see. And I think that her character was scorned. And then later, he decides to try. He's trying to fight all his urges and be an oak.
Yeah.
You know, as Doc Hollywood would say. But Hollywood. Doc, I'm thinking like Michael J. Fox would say. Like Doc Holliday would say. But then he tries later when he takes Dana Delaney's own words, that the actress, because I can't think of the character's name right now. He says, oh, honey, he goes to Maddie. It's like, why don't we just sell everything and get out of here and we can go live on room service. And that was when he was really trying. Now, of course, she was like high on her like opioid at the time, but she just laughs and says, room service? Like, this is ridiculous. And it's like, oh. So they both really tried once. And all the other times we're just kind of seeing the last temptation of Kurt Russell.
By Josephine.
Josephine, that's it. And she from the beginning was full court press, and right away is like, you know,
I want him.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's married. The marshal or the sheriff, the county sheriff said like multiple times, he's married. I really like you, and she just doesn't care.
I love what Billy Zane had to say about him. He's like, that kind of squint. Like, he's got this kind of bad vulnerability to him. Like, he sort of calls exactly what Kurt Russell is. I thought that was pretty funny that he did that. Now, speaking of Billy Zane, we have a question from Nathan LaHaye, and he asked actually about that character. So, he asks, and I'm getting there, was Billy Zane's character in fact a retired gunslinger who turned to acting as a way to escape his horrible past by continuously pretending to be someone else? And would this, the prettiest man I ever did see, be able to best Derek Zoolander in a walk-off?
Okay, for the first part of that question, I kind of giggled and thought that was ridiculous when he first asked the question. Like, was he, you know, left some gunslinger's life to become an actor? Now, I don't care how good an actor he is and how much the show must go on. He was on that stage and someone fired a gun and hit something with a bullet that was 18 inches from his head, and he kept his composure. He paused for a sec, like he froze for a second, and kept going and kept smiling. And all I can think is, okay, that's not the first time he's faced that kind of danger.
Yeah,
that's all I could think.
Yeah.
He wasn't drunk.
When he was younger, maybe he came across a bunch of things, and then he, got into that life, then got out of it by acting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, could be, but he's seen something. He's been in some shit.
I thought the same thing too, because I would have jumped out of the way.
He reacted so calmly to that.
The guy who throws things in the air, he freaked out and ran out of there. They're actually shooting at me.
And as for the prettiest man you ever did see, I believe that in the movie Zoolander, they kind of already give us the answer to this.
They do.
Right?
They do.
So there's the walk off, and Owen Wilson even says, "I think you better listen to your friend Billy Zane." Mm-hmm. And Zane is like trying to warn Derek about what he's getting into, but both Hansel and Derek Zoolander have the greatest respect for Billy Zane. I think that Zoolander is a Highlander scenario, and Hansel was trying to dethrone Zoolander, and Billy Zane was the Zoolander before both of them were on the scene. I think that it's just that he had his time already.
That's right. And so, I mean, this movie could have if the movie was made, this movie could have been about Billy Zane, pretty much, right? Maybe 5 years earlier.
I mean, maybe this is Zoolander Billy Zane, and like a Highlander, he's changed his name over civilizations.
Now, the walk-off, right? So if you think about it, right, Zoolander could only pull off Blue Steel once, right? So he's got that one move in his pocket, and it's not going to be as big the second time around. And in fact, he has a hard time getting that move back. So Billy Zane, I think, would be more consistent in a walk-off, right? More smolder.
Yeah.
That's what I see. What do you think?
I'm with you, man. I think we've given an interesting alternative mythology to Zoolander.
I love that. Now, all right. How about this one? Mike Hewitt asks, where does Doc and Ringo's initial meeting, verbal jousting in Latin, rank among the rhetorical duels in westerns and movies in general?
I mean, I'm not a Western person in general, but the best ever.
I mean, you have the class so Once Upon a Time in the West. There's a great scene where at the end of the shootout of that movie, like Sergio Leone's masterpiece, like that happens. So you have just this guy Charles Bronson. He plays a dude called Harmonica, and it's just sort of, I don't know. It's a beautiful. All right, so
and I haven't even seen it. The only thing that comes to mind for me is Russell Crowe's character in 3:10 to Yuma. The problem is that he was like a scholar who was always talking to a stone. So there was never any proper repartee. It was always like something deep and wise, and maybe even a quote from the Bible. And then Christian Bale would be like, "I'm a working man. I gotta pay the bills." Like there was no repartee at all.
He quotes some Socrates. Well, I don't know about that.
I do know that I got 2 cows, 2 kids, a wife, and a wheat.
So I was looking through. Nice shot. So I was thinking about The Third Man. There's a great speech, but that's really owned by Harry Lime, played by Orson Welles. And then you have Seventh Seal. There's like a good duel. That's not like a Western, but you have, you have the good duel there when they're playing chess. I was thinking There Will Be Blood, but it's basically just Daniel Day-Lewis yelling at Paul Dano. Inglourious Basterds is Christoph Waltz destroying everybody. So I thought maybe a good one is The Dark Knight in the interrogation room when they're just going at each other, but he's getting beat up. It's not it's not totally verbal. The Joker is just kind of owning him with words. So I went through a lot of stuff, and I couldn't really I found great discussions, but their back and forth was equal. I couldn't really find that. Maybe in Roadhouse, the final battle between that guy before he gets his throat ripped out. But no, that's not it.
God.
Yeah, so I think, I could think of great moments where, like rhetorical jousting, or like rhetorical duels, but a lot of the ones I could think of aren't really duels. They're more like, one-round KOs.
And then specifically in a Western, I mean, because what we saw was like the foreplay before a fight that didn't quite happen. Or at least not at that point in the movie. Like,
I guess you could think about maybe Shane. I was trying to think of Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Or, no, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I can't think of that. Clint Eastwood didn't talk much. Maybe in Unforgiven, the early scenes between Gene Hackman and Clint Eastwood. But Clint Eastwood wasn't much of a talker.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood wasn't much. I mean, he would say cutting, like, kind of smart things, but they weren't eloquent. They weren't like Gene Hackman's character. Yeah.
I got 8 kids. Ping! You got me obsessed with that now. You know,
I need a new plow.
As Socrates would say, a man who plows his lawn is a man who ain't up at dawn. Well, I need a new plow. I don't know. Wait.
I need a new plow, and I need respect from my boys and my wife.
I like this guy. All right. The next one's from Kieran Sweeney, and it's Will You Be My Huckleberry?
I mean, are you Val Kilmer? If that is the case, then no.
Nope.
Although, if I said no to Doc Holliday, he's just going to find me later in the movie anyway when I didn't expect him.
Yeah, and look like I walked over your grave. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're like, hey, Mark, you want to go to a brewery? I'll be like, yeah, man, I'll be a Huckleberry. I'll be your Hoppleberry.
Yeah.
And the way he's asking,
I mean,
right?
But just being the Huckleberry in general, that you're asking for a fight, and I got to say, like, I don't want to be anybody's Huckleberry anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to see you getting stressed out, man. That'd be enough.
I don't want to be anybody's Huckleberry again, like, unless they need it, right? Unless it's a loved one or a close friend needs it. But like, just going around, like, someone being like, hey, John,
I'm done.
You want to be my Huckleberry? I'm going to be like, I've seen that movie. The answer is no.
I'm done Huckleberrying.
I'm done Huckleberrying. I'm huckled out. This berry is jam. He's all sweet now.
Yeah, my Huckleberry turned into raspberry preserves.
I'm trying to make horrible puns.
I love it, dude. There's no horrible pun. I just want you to know. Let's do it. Now, before we go on break, I just want to read this one here. And it's Doug Bramman. He asked a great question, but then he answered it. So he put, would Wyatt have defeated Johnny Ringo in the duel if Doc was not well enough to fight? So head to head in a fair fight, Ringo would have won, right?
I mean, if you're a betting man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the favorite. He's the odds-on favorite. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking the sexy pick if you're taking Wyatt. You know when some people are like, well, I think it's in the rain and it's 70 degrees and they win 65% of the time. Like, if you did that math, you'd pick Wyatt, but Ringo. I'd put money on Ringo every time. Just from what we hear. Like, Doc Holliday said he could beat you.
Right. And there was a lot of respect there. I mean, Doc Holliday knew what he was talking about, and Ringo knew what he was talking about. I mean, even Wyatt Earp knew. But then again, Wyatt Earp, in the movie, we have no reason to believe he's experienced with the gun.
Yeah.
Until he starts killing people. By his own words, we have no reason to believe that he is particularly great with a gun. He is a tough, confident, stalwart man.
But he's not you're right. You'd want him on your squad. He's a first tier draft pick, right?
Right. Whereas, but like in Doc Holliday, we hear that we don't know how long it was, but that he was an educated man who, found his way out west and then turned to gambling, gunfights, and alcoholism. So he's getting into scuffles.
Watch the scene again in the beginning where Michael Rooker looks unhappy after the shootout when they go to the wedding. You can see Bean or Ringo looking at Michael Rooker's character and sensing that he's unhappy. It's an interesting take. Like, it's good background acting. But Doug gave us an answer. Can I read it to you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I feel Wyatt, being a lawman for so long, would realize if you find yourself in a fair fight, you've done something wrong. Meaning, there's Johnny Ringo leaning against a tree waiting patiently for Wyatt, then bang, Wyatt shoots him from behind cover and kills him. I mean, there's no doubt that Johnny is going to kill Wyatt, and even Doc says he can't win against Johnny Ringo. So you shoot that cocky bastard when he's not looking, and then you're the man that killed Johnny Ringo, with a ton of exclamation points. I love that. I don't see him handling it the way Doc did. I guess Doc did it because he knew he was dying anyways. Wyatt wanted to live. The only way that makes sense is Wyatt ambushing Johnny and winning by, cheating. And if anyone argues he wouldn't do that, let me remind you that when they were in the saloon and Johnny starts arguing in Latin with Doc, what does Wyatt do under the table? He cocks and moves a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun, posting it towards the Cowboys. If something went wrong, he was going to blast them through the table, thus cheating.
I do disagree about calling that cheating, because he was doing that to protect his friend.
Yeah. I guess it's not.
But but the point is well received.
He's not taking it out to shoot them. He's just going to shoot them from under the table.
He's not standing up, pulling up a gun, saying, "Okay, guys," like, or threatening a gun, or he's going about a different way. But it's like people behave differently when they are defending loved ones than they necessarily would in a scuffle. People find confidence, or people will get more desperate or resourceful to protect others sometimes. But it goes the same way, but then you can flip that script, and some people will only go tooth and nail to protect themselves. But again, the point is well received. I'm quibbling on a little bit here, and yeah, it's like he knows, he's fearful. This guy has a reputation. This guy practices and puts on little gun flare shows. Wyatt's probably just, when that was all happening, Wyatt's probably just watching like, can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. That's faster than me. That's faster than me. That's faster than me. I mean, it's like he saw all this stuff happen.
And I wonder if Doc saw that and just started playing with the metal cup, because he's like, well, I obviously can't match that, so I'm just going to make fun of him.
I don't necessarily think that he couldn't match that, especially when we see how he dispatches Ringo in the end.
Yeah.
He shoots him, and before he can even see the blood trickle down, he has already reholstered that thing calmly. He didn't only shoot, he knew where it was going.
Yeah, right through the head.
Like, I think, but however, I think that he was also tanked at the time that Ringo was showing off. And he might have known that I'm hammered too. And he's a good psychological bully when he wants to be. And he played the right card to verbally put, or well, not verbally necessarily, but to put Ringo in his place and control that room.
So what do you think about Doug's answer here? Because remember in the beginning, he just wanted to gamble. He didn't want to get involved. So he might have, he just wanted to make money, and he didn't care that he was making money off of people losing money. He didn't have the strongest moral fortitude. I think if he saw he could have cheated, he would have done it.
Sure, I think he would have had to cheat before Ringo even saw him, though. I think that's what it would have had to take. Like, he's going out there to meet him, and let's just say that was Wyatt Earp walking up and not Doc Holliday from a distance when the hat was down. Like, if that was Wyatt Earp, he probably would have already been palming his gun.
Yeah.
And he just would have shot him before even making conscientious eye contact. Like, I think that's the way that would have had to have gone. Because once you get really close, you're already trying to read each other's reaction anyway. So whatever you do motion-wise to go to cheat, well, the quick draw pulls out a gun. It's a quick little right? So I'm talking myself around here, but I don't think he could have gotten up to the point where it could have looked like a quick draw contest. I think once you've reached that point, it doesn't matter what you do. He's going to do his little short motion and shoot you. So he'd need to outright ambush him, fool him before he ever knew the fight was starting.
You know what? He could have gone and replaced his bullets the night before with blanks.
Oh, dastardly.
Evil. All right, let's do
that
one more.
That would be dastardly.
That's funny. I like that. All right, let's do one more question. So Donnie Wack, he asked, who in fact is a daisy? And I did some research on this. And I mean, I'm sure people know, but simply put, daisy means the best or most marvelous. So you'd be a daisy if you did that. You'd be the best if you already had, basically.
Oh, I misread that. I was going to say Johnny Ringo and Billy Bob Thornton are both daisies.
No, they're like, oh, yeah, well, I guess they are, because he does call them both. But yeah, he's saying you'd be the best if you just leave. So daisy, yeah, according to eyewitnesses of the gunfight that actually happened, Doc said that, blaze away, you're a daisy if you have. So you're great if you have. So that's what a daisy is.
That makes sense. No, I misread that, because when he threatens Doc Holliday, he says you're a daisy if you do, right? Yep. And then after he shoots Johnny Ringo and Johnny Ringo is dying, he's like, come on. Oh, you ain't no daisy. You ain't no daisy at all.
Yep. You're not the best.
I totally flipped the meaning there for 20 years. I never really thought about it so critically.
That's why these questions are so good, man. We're learning a lot about this movie.
Yeah.
All right, hey, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more Tombstone. Welcome back to movies, films, and flicks. Welcome back, Tank.
How's it going, Swede?
Yeah. Let's go ride with Wyatt Earp and shoot some cowboys. Yeah. Boo boo. Pew pew pew.
You sound like an intoxicated chocolatier.
I have a blonde mustache. Yeah. It's going down.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Back in Sweden, in the fjords. He would have chopped a tree down and have it fell on Ringo.
That's right. He would have chopped down most of it the night before, though, so you just had to push it over the next.
He's leaning on it and he gets smushed.
So I have an interesting, not really Tombstone story. So I was in southern Arizona for 10 days this year. And when we were there, I was looking at the points on the map where we were going to go collecting, because it was a field biology trip. Me and a bunch of entomologists were just going to go collect bugs for 10 days. Any listeners who know me on Facebook, that was that trip. And I had totally forgotten at the time, it just didn't occur to me, if you will, like that Tombstone took place in Tombstone, Arizona.
Yeah.
And and even then, I don't know where it is in Arizona. It just, even if you told me that. So we're looking at maps, and I'm looking at this mountain range, at this road we're going into this campsite on, and I see, when I zoom way in on Google Maps, Johnny Ringo's grave is a historical marker that shows up when you zoom in just outside of Tombstone. It's like a couple miles east of Tombstone towards the Mule Mountains, I think it was. But either way, it's like I really wanted to go there, but it's like I'm with two guys who, like Tombstone's a cool movie and Kurt Russell's great and all, but they're like, we're not gonna go detour, drive all the way around this mountain range to the other side and give up a couple hours of one of our good field days just for this.
Michael Bean's not in there.
It's like sometimes, but I intend to go back, not just for the gravesite of Johnny Ringo, because they buried him there. They buried him where he lost that fight, apparently, because it's outside of Tombstone. And so on a future trip, when I go there, I've got to go there so that I can walk across your grave, Johnny Ringo. Do you think it's all roped off so that people can't walk across his grave?
Yeah, there's gonna be footprints there, though. You're gonna.
It would be really It's probably really disrespectful if there was all that foot treading over it and the grass is all dead because people keep walking across his grave.
I guarantee at least 7,000 people have done that. At least.
Yeah. All right. But I gotta get there. I was so close. I was within 40 miles of it at some point.
So before we get to this next listener question, I was going to say we had a lot of jealous MFF contributors that we tackled this movie. I'm like, nope, it's John's. So people were like, we got to listen to Tombstone, and I'm like, nope, we got it, all set. Tom Tresimer, the guy who he's done the Hackers Pod, Good Day to Die Hard. His question was, when is it?
When is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I honestly thought he meant. I wrote down an answer, 1879.
Oh,
that's really what I thought he meant.
Oh yeah. That's funny. I was like, yeah, get out of here. We're doing, I forget what movie we're covering next. We got to talk about that. All right, so.
The Thing. It was my special request.
Oh, yeah. No, with Tom, we have another movie coming up. But yeah, we're doing Thing in episode 250, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And then we have another one here, Adam Hodgins, who's joined us many times. Icebreaker, Cliffhanger, Sharks in Sweden, Peter Rabbit, Venom. Adam Hodgins asks, is there a cooler cowboy movie ever? John?
So I'm going to say, I'm not saying yes, but I'm saying that 3:10 to Yuma is so very close. I'm not calling it cooler, but give me another 10 or 15 years to have seen it more and more times. It might be almost as cool. It doesn't have the one-liners, but that's a heavy, visceral Western.
Yeah, good picture. Good remake. I'm going to go with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Just Sergio Leone. It's cool. You watch the shots. You watch everything take time. And the camera work and the dialogue, the cheeky dialogue, the funny moments, the epic scale of it. I just think I have to say Good, the Bad, and the Weird. I have to. Like that. That's...
Oh, and the Weird.
Oh, and the Ugly. I'm sorry. You know what's funny?
Okay.
In my head, I was like, I can't get this wrong. But yeah, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I love The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. But yeah, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly to me is the coolest ever. Tombstone's a close second. But then I was thinking like a Bad Day at Black Rock. There's a bunch of great westerns, but I guess this one's just so loaded with so many lines. Like it's a cool movie.
And I don't even like many westerns, but like Unforgiven, I think is an outstanding western. But I'm not even putting it in league with the newer 3:10 to Yuma and Tombstone.
Wait, so are you saying it's not as good, or you're saying it's just different? Like, because I think Unforgiven. It's like a Best Picture winner. That's a beautiful film. It's just not as cool, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's not as cool.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like as
It's not as cool. It is not tied for favorite for me, but it's an outstanding film. Yeah. But it is. I'm not putting it up there with 3:10 to Yuma and Tombstone with respect to this question. There a cooler
if
Western?
Someone gave me like here, what do you want to watch? Like out of these three movies, I would say Tombstone, just to have it on in the background. I love Unforgiven, but it's heavy.
Yeah. You don't leave like with any good feelings at the end of that one.
That's a heavy picture. Heavy picture. All right. So the next one is, he already asked who would you cast. We figured that out. And then he put, what is your favorite Doc Holliday line? What's your favorite Doc Holliday line in this movie?
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like someone just walked over your grave.
That's so good. And mine is evidently Mr. Ringo's an educated man. Now I really hate him.
Latin, dear.
Oh, I love that. Now I really hate him. That was good, man. Because then in that line, he hates him, but he also kind of respects him at the same time. And he manages to pull that off with one line. So that's definitely that. And then he put, is this Billy Bob Thornton's best role?
Okay, is it the best Billy Bob Thornton movie? No, but boy, his best role, I'm inclined to. It's so short. It's hard to compare it to a full movie, right? Because I think of things like Monsters Ball.
Yeah, Bad Santa, Sling Blade.
Right.
The Man Who Wasn't There, Coen Brother movie.
So, I mean, is it his best small role?
Yes.
I'm inclined to say yes.
There it is.
Right.
Solved it. Yeah.
If we're going with our small roles, whether we're talking like our kind of henchmen, our 60-second characters, even though he really had minutes, right? But like he's a one scene character. As far as one scene characters, 5 minutes or less, outstanding, right? That's his best.
I love it.
And then his best role, period. No, I don't think that's fair.
And then the last, I love your answer though. That's the best small role of Billy Bob. And last but not least, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Kevin Costner hate this movie? 10.
17. 17. It's definitely the 17.
Oh, you know what I think? Okay, so Wyatt Earp came out 6 months after this movie, and this movie cost half as much as Wyatt Earp and made double what Wyatt Earp made. So it was 17 in 94, right? But then Costner went and made Open Range, which I think is very good. So then the 17 dropped down to a 13. Does that make sense?
Still over a 10.
Yeah.
Still over a 10, though.
Oh, he hates it. He hates it big time. But I just think it was really high because, like, man, that Tombstone wrecked Wyatt Earp. No, Wyatt Earp wrecked Wyatt Earp. It was 3 hours long. But then Open Range came out and had that beautiful gunfight at the end with him and Robert Duvall. So cool. And then it dropped. Then it went down to, like, 13. But whenever he sees a poster of Tombstone now, he's mad. He's not happy about it.
I'll bet that if I ever see a headline that starts with actor Kevin Costner arrested, I don't need to read the rest because I know it's because he was like publicly urinating on a poster for Tombstone or something.
He's ripping down posters and like
he's actually defiling the actual grave of Johnny Ringo in Arizona.
He's in an Amazon warehouse. Just like stealing Tombstone Blu-rays.
He's just grabbing DVDs and snapping them.
And then there's a camera of him for 5 hours long, just taking each one, putting it back, putting it back.
Take that, Russell.
And tonight's news, 7,000 Tombstone DVDs were destroyed. Kevin Costner says, I'd do it again. That's funny, John. He's dancing on Johnny Ringo. He's going to Amazon warehouses. That makes me happy. I want that movie. All right. We have 2 left. No, 3 left, but they're quick. Now, 2.5. So Michael Castrovinci put, whose head is going to get turned into a canoe? Which is a great line. Do you remember that scene? Yeah, Ike. So he looks
great. Yeah, that was...
I mean, that's a vision right there. That's a good line. I'm going to turn your face into a canoe.
He had a large handgun right at Ike's head, and that was the moment, too, because Ike, Stephen Lang's character, is such a shit talker. Like I said, he's the ultimate scoundrel. He's like in his head, he's Han Solo, and this is his movie, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the ultimate scoundrel. He runs every time he can if he thinks it'll keep him alive, and then he will okay, Carell. He surrenders. Kurt Russell's like, well, then get out of here, and then he just runs in the house and starts shooting at him again. I mean, he was truly scared for his life. I don't think that was a plan. I think he was scared for his life. He was begging for his life. Then he finally took cover. He's like, oh well, shit. I'm just, then he starts shooting again. Ultimate scoundrel, and turning his head into a canoe.
What a great line.
Everyone says Thomas Hayden Church, I think, is the one who said he's bluffing. He's like, no, he ain't bluffing. He means it. And like, great acting in that scene. Stephen Lang's maybe best role.
Yeah, he's so good. And I liked the precursor, Thomas Hayden Dirtbag in this. So he had he's in another movie with Billy Zane. They're in Demon Knight together too.
Right. And I think that Thomas Hayden Church, when he made Sideways with Paul Giamatti, and he read the script, he's like, I'm just going to be the same guy I was in Tombstone.
Just a cad.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that. And so he knows a little bit about music, and it's called Chopin. He gets showed up. Oh, that's fun. She showed up with Chopin. So two questions left. David Serrano. John Levengood, has anyone taken Doc Val Kilmer up on being their Huckleberry, and what was the outcome? So Ringo took him up, right?
Well, no, Ringo didn't want to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so no one has.
And he even said to Doc Holliday, I was only fooling. And then Doc says, I wasn't.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, so no one has. You don't want him to be your Huckleberry in this regard. Not like a friend, like not like Tom Sawyer, not like Brad Renfro, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Tom and Huck.
I mean, I'll bet that in Doc's timeline there were a lot. I don't know if a lot means 5 or a lot means 25, but I'll bet that there were a lot, enough for him to get quite a reputation as a very fast gun, right? It's just that they're dead. And as we unfortunately learned from the judge at Wyatt Earp's dismay, well, after Johnny Ringo, Johnny Ringo, after Bill shot the marshal, he says, can't have a murder without a witness.
Yeah. That was such a slimy move by Curly.
God. That is when he goes from being like, I can understand why you would turn to organized crime in such a, kind of a wild time, to he's just evil.
Even in the beginning, he's like, well, you killed 2 of my cowboys, so we're going to pay back, like a mafia hit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, he just killed them. But he was high on opium. Does that give him any leeway?
He was really high on opium, but just it's not like he didn't say anything when they were taking him out of the jailhouse the next morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
And his fellow cowboys were even talking smack. They're like, just because you're wearing that badge right now, don't mean you're right. Like, so Bill could have said right there, he could have apologized somehow. That could have been his one semi-redeeming moment, to just know that they're on other sides of major points of view in this world. And instead, he just kept walking with his opium hangover. Big time opium hangover. He's sweating that day. And they live in Phoenix. And they're wearing wool. All right, last question. But this is the question that got answered. So Neil Mitchell asked, what did Johnny Ringo call Doc Holliday? Linger or Lunger? Or something else. Lunger.
And then, Lunger. And then, oh, my bad. I knew Lunger. Jeez Louise. And then William Cook answered, he's like, that was a slang term that people would insult people with tuberculosis. So they answered that. Yeah.
It's funny. I saw that comment, and then I saw the movie again before we sat down here, and I caught something that I actually never caught before. And that was when Ike is at the bar and Doc Holliday collapses. And then they take him out. He's talking to the bartender. He says, what's wrong with him anyway? And the bartender even says he's a lunger.
Yeah. There's throwing slang out there for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the first time I ever caught that. I didn't even know that was a term back then for folks with TB.
Yeah. That was kind of fun to learn. Like, I learned some fun stuff with these questions, John. These were good. These are good questions. And now, all right, so we have so much more to talk about. I guess I just want to, in the beginning when they show up to the wedding, I love, though, when Michael Biehn just behold the pale horse, and the man who sat on him was death. Like, I love that, from Revelations quote that he does. He's just, has there been, all right, so Gary Busey, right, in Lethal Weapon, he's not the main bad guy, but he's the most, you know what I mean? He's not the main bad guy, but he's the toughest bad guy, right?
Right.
And then you have Total Recall, Michael Ironside, kind of. But I don't know too many more villains that I like more than Ringo. He's not the main guy, but have you ever liked, I know this is putting you on the spot, but have you ever liked kind of a bad guy who isn't the main bad guy the most?
That guy who's the main bad guy.
I like Mad Dog from The Raid. Oh my gosh.
I actually did. Oh, I loved watching that guy fight, but I didn't necessarily like him as a villain. All he did was fight.
I would want him to be a third in command, and then I'd take Ringo as my second in command.
Boy, that's it. Yeah, I'd really have to stop and think. It's like a lot of times that would be like in the movie when you have the abusive prison guard who's really working under the criminal warden, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like a Shawshank or Green Mile.
Yeah. Like it's like those that dynamic comes up in so many movies, but that's the kind of thing that springs to mind. That's tough. But I gotta say, Powers Booth, I liked his character a lot. I mean, I hated him, but I like the depiction. I think it's a great character depiction on screen. He's got a lot of charisma. He's wearing some showier shirts than everyone. That's a tough character to pull off on screen.
Yeah, and he pulls. You're right. He does. He has a menace to him, but he also has a sophistication to him. And, I mean, he keeps. I don't know why he keeps Ike around. I'd want to keep smarter people. But no, you're right.
Ike might be a coward, but he's viciously loyal when the odds are in their favor. And when you're one of those cowboys, the odds are usually in your favor.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's another good loyalist to have around because his confidence is predicated on the number of other cowboys there. So he's always going to pull out a gun. He's not going to run until his life is actually threatened. And again, most of the time, they're outnumbering everybody. They're outgunning everybody.
And what do you call it? Like it's an army until someone's tougher than them, I guess, and they kind of fall apart.
Right, but I mean he's a good classic trustworthy henchman in that sense.
Slimy,
right?
Unkempt, keeps getting away. I get you have a lot of those. I mean, in The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, right? You have that guy that keeps running away. Yeah, so I get he works. He works. I liked. I want to move on. Do you think Billy Bob Thornton was going to light Kurt Russell up, wasn't he?
You think I think he probably thought I think he was always on the edge of it.
Yeah, when he was walking with that shotgun up behind him.
Oh yeah. But again, it's like everything about that character. I think that he is a bully, but I think he's a tough bully, not a normal like coward when confronted bully. It's just that he was met with like a Marvel superhero in this time.
Oh, it's like the Bulls when they were winning all the championships and the Jazz couldn't beat them. Or Andy Roddick when he kept getting beat by Federer in tennis.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, it's like, just imagine you're in that situation too. I mean, Kurt Russell is not a titan of a physical human being compared to Billy Bob Thornton, at least back then, right? It's not like there's some huge size dynamic. And this is a time of guns, and they are both wearing one. And he bitch slaps him. And his face, it's not that he's crushed or now he's a coward. It was almost he was appalled. He was shocked. Mm-hmm. And then he gets his muster after like a second of staring, and he starts threatening him again, and he slaps him again. Like these are things that, like it's almost like when the T-800 gets slammed really hard and it's processing. Like it just he didn't know how to respond to this level of confrontation.
And have you know when someone's just said something to you and it's just maybe so extreme or it doesn't make sense where you have no comeback?
Right. Again, you're stunned.
Did that just wait? Yeah, no, you broke that down also. I love that.
But I mean, he had to get hit 3 times. And when Kurt Russell says, "Go ahead, draw," see what, like he's got a little shake to him. It's almost like in his head. He's almost thinking of doing it, but he's not doing it. Like he's all over the place. He's ready to burst, and he just happened not to that day.
And a lot of this casting was credit to Kevin Jarre, where he would he cast everybody, and a lot of these people were his friends. Michael Biehn was his friend, so even though he got booted from the project, he brought in a heck of a cast, huh?
Dude, such a cast.
And I'll tell you some cool. Can I tell you something real cool?
Yeah.
All right, so the cinematographer of this. He also shot Bullet, the Steve McQueen classic, with one of the greatest car chases ever, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Rosemary's Baby.
Interesting.
And War Games. So this guy is one of the best cinematographers working who shot this movie. And that's why it looks good. I wouldn't say there was never a shot that blew my mind, which is weird. No, shots really shouldn't blow my mind. You watch some movies and I don't think this movie had the time to set up anything super beautiful. So that's a wrong statement. I think this movie uses very economical and very good camera work. It just looks good. And do you think Westerns age better because they're just period pieces? So you make a Western in 1996, you make a Western today, it's not like the cars are outdated, or you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So I wonder if that's helped.
And the action was just ambitious enough for its time that it doesn't feel like that kind of old stupid act. You know what I'm talking about. The stunts just seem almost phoned in by comparison sometimes.
Yeah.
When you get into the older stuff. But no, the action generally works. There's one moment in the action that I think is dumb.
The horse?
No, when Virgil bonks Ike on the head, you can actually see in the take that they used that Sam Elliott almost like dropped a gun in the act, and he hit the guy so light.
Yeah, Kurt Russell bonked another guy too. There's 2 head bonks in this movie.
Right, but there's like one moment, and I only noticed because I've seen it so many times in such a short period of time lately. But again, like it all really holds up. And the other thing that I think older movies, suffer from, regardless of genre, a little bit is pacing. Mm-hmm. They're usually longer shots. They linger on things longer. They'll show more of something that would normally get cut out now. Like someone walking to a car, getting into a car, starting a car, and driving the car off. That's something that you almost never see now unless there's something really substantial to it. And I feel like a lot of, whether it's a horror movie, an action movie, or a drama, most movies made in 1980 that are 90 minutes, I feel like should have been 70 minutes.
Yeah. So how do you feel about this one?
This movie doesn't have any of that. It seems really cleanly edited. But again, this was early/mid 90s. But again, I think it does a better job than a lot of other movies of its era.
It was supposed to be it was supposed to be a much longer movie. Sorry to interrupt. So Kurt Russell and the director had to pare it down. So it was like a 2.5 hour movie that they cut down a lot.
I think it's pretty. What is it? 2 hours and 8 minutes? Is that?
Yeah, but it was. But I think they hacked off like a half hour.
Well, whatever they did, it's very well manicured. And it doesn't feel long to me.
No,
that's another thing. It's well paced.
The tension's there when Bill Paxton we haven't even talked about Bill Paxton when he gets shot. Now, one more thing before I forget. Catherine Hardwicke was the production designer on this, and I don't know if you know that name, but she did Tank Girl, she did Vanilla Sky, Posse. She did Posse.
What does she do? What does she do?
So she was a production designer. She also did I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. But she moved on to direct Twilight and Red Riding Hood. So the production designer, she designed the set, she built the sets, she worked with all the prop departments. Like she was the main person who designed everything in this. So she worked with the director and producers to create everything. They probably had that backdrop from Posse. But she did Posse. She moved from Posse to this. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then she went and directed Twilight.
That's another thing that makes this movie hold up, by the way. I didn't even think of it until you said it. When you see these bars, right, and they're gambling, they have all stuff up, all the well, I guess she's not wardrobe, but all the wardrobing, all the props, all the chairs. Like, there's a lot of detail in these bars going on. There's, like a lot of movies, they kind of will kind of hand wave because they know that you're paying attention to the stars or the action on the screen. And things will seem almost like barren by comparison, especially if it's not a mega budget movie of its time. And this isn't that. Like this was probably built up from very little.
Yeah, there's one scene, though, where there's a very fake-looking building in the background. It got a little distracting. Maybe I can show you a picture. But there's one thing that's just, you can tell it's just the front of a building.
It's just like a prop up, like from a Hollywood set?
From Blazing Saddles. And it's just the front of a building. And they keep the camera on it for a long time. And you're like, get it off of that. Get it off of that. But other than that, man, it looks beautiful. Like the set design, geez Louise. Great looking movie. They had talent everywhere in this film working on it.
I think they did a good job painting the world for us. In the beginning, the little narration they give us about that point in history and how life was around there. Because sometimes you see a movie and if you don't know Westerns or if you don't know the era, like you'll be like, why are they wearing those frilly shirts? And one line in the exposition well placed. We even had stores bringing all the newest French apparels out, like things. So like they do a good job putting us in that time. And show me, don't tell me is always the name of the game. And this movie does a lot of that. But some things need a little explanation. And that's one of those things that I think people benefit from a little exposition. So the exposition they give is really good about the world. When they explain things about the world, when the marshal is explaining about the cowboys, which is the equivalent in this movie of an exposition dump, but it's tactful, it's pithy. It didn't feel like a throwaway just to give us information for the sake of giving us information.
And there's a background scene where it's saying equal pay for, like, remember the women on the horse and buggy, equal pay for women.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, so it's this town that it's trying to modernized, but it's also during this time where it was the Wild West. So it's a very interesting combination of progress, but then regression almost. Lawlessness. So it's like progression in the face of, you know what I mean? It's an interesting thing that they threw in there, and I really applauded that. And you know what's funny in my notes? I have one thing that says badass sets. And I also have, I'd hate to own that bar, because how many glasses get broken? When all the cowboys are in a bar, how much money overhead do you lose with these guys around?
It's going to be a lot. And God forbid, man, after the gunfight, all those broken windows.
Yeah,
like,
you have to get everything sent there. Like, so for you to order whiskey bottles, you can't just go about breaking them because you're sort of in the middle of nowhere, Arizona. It's not too built up yet. So you don't want these cowboys busting all your bottles.
Yeah, no, fair criticism. But then again, the people who are losing out the most, let's just call it like Wyatt and his gang, there are multiple times where there was $500 to thousands of dollars, and they would give a dollar amount on the table. And I'm just thinking, in 1879, like, one of those pots is going to cover all the damage of this whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. And then the guy wins all that money, goes, drinks for everyone. Well, so I guess that's why you want him there. Did I just answer my own question?
I can't, well, but no, I don't know. Replacing this stuff has to take time, though, right? But you're rushing it somehow. Do you keep extra stocks of things? Do you have a case with 144 more beer mugs that aren't even being used because when they break, you can't just go to a Walmart?
Yeah.
Like, is there a guy who is really only working when you commission him to work, but because, windows require so much attention, it's like one guy doing the wood lattice work and the glass pane work. So it's like, just whenever glass breaks, he gets a call, and that's when he's working. Yeah. Like, is that how the economy works? We need an Old West economist.
Yeah, who's replacing these windows so quickly? So I would talk to Curly, and I'd be like, listen, man, I cut you guys good prices. I'm happy to have you here. But can your guys just break like 15 less glasses? You can still break like 75. Just keep like 15. Break 15 less a night. Actually, I would just say break all the beer glasses you want. Just don't break my windows anymore. Please. And like, listen, this isn't like a threat. I can't retaliate, obviously. You're in control here. But, I do you guys a favor. Can you just do one favor for me, right? Or if the window breaks, can you give me money for it? Like, you couldn't deal with them. You just have to get money where you could. So that's what I would say.
So, okay, remember when they're hunting down the cowboys and you see all those shots of like 5 people on the horizon riding their cowboys?
Yeah.
I'm riding their cowboys, riding their horses. Right. So it's like they're going from like town to town to find these cowboys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I wonder, what if you're a bar owner or the mayor or whatever, you're like, look, cowboys, we aren't going to make a big stink about you breaking all this stuff, but whenever you go from town to town, you gotta bring more glassware with you.
Yeah.
Just bring it in a crate. Just put it in the back. I won't tell any of the other patrons that you still seem all bad and everything. But
so Curly, like, when you can, man, just 100 more glasses, please. I won't. Yeah, that's funny, John. I won't tell anybody.
Like the saddlebags, like Ike has 3 window replacements, right? And like Curly has like one guy with a wagon who's pulling the wagon, and they're like just cases of glassware. and they just tuck them. They put like a case of it behind each bar that they like in the town that they're visiting.
Like milk instead of like
right. It's the best kept secret. And this way, like, the bartenders were like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my owner and my owned and operated business? But then it's like you cut to the next scene and they're like in there again and everyone's cool with it.
Cleaning new glasses. Oh man, we need that deleted scene. All right, and then so we haven't even gotten to the shootout of the OK Corral where Val Kilmer shoots in the air, a horse runs, and then he kills the guy who was hiding behind the horse.
Yep.
What a good. We haven't even really talked much about Sam. We still haven't talked much about Bill. Well, does Bill Paxton have much of a character in the show?
No. I mean, his character, what he has is rich on screen, but it lacks the iconography of most of the other characters.
Yeah.
I feel.
He's good, and he has that good line about, heaven, like all these stars, and we're here on Earth. It's kind of humbling, but
yeah, he He's just there. I mean, he's a bit of a moral compass too, because when like Virgil goes to the side of the law, and then Wyatt's like, "I thought we had a good thing going here." He's like, "Oh, you too?" And he's like, I just thought it was what you would have done."
I love Russell's reaction to that. You don't never see him be that squirrely. He's like I guess in Escape from L.A. he didn't want to help, but they forced him. In Big Trouble in Little China, he had to get his truck back. Tombstone, he had to help his brothers. Soldier, he got shipped to a planet, had to help. Whoa. Captain Ron, he just got paid. He last minute. What do you think? Think he's like he helps, but when he's not forced?
Well, I mean, he worked for, 15 or 20 years as a lawman, and he was doing everything in his power to not get back. He got off the damn train and we're federal marshals. He's like, "I'm going to stop you right there, guys. Like, I know where this is going." Then he gets into town, and they're talking to him. It's like, nope, I'm retired from all that. Like, if I was a retired cop or retired military and people were trying to put a gun back in my hand, I'd probably be like, guys, like, I did my service.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'd like to be safe and have this second business. All he wants to do is have his next business.
Yeah, let me make my money. And Terry O'Quinn, who was also in Young Guns, the podcast that we covered, and he was in The Rocketeer, another episode we just had. He has kind of a nothing role in this as the mayor. He wants him to become a cop or the sheriff.
He might be one of the weaker characters, yet still a memorable character. It wasn't a throwaway, but it was weak on screen with everyone else.
He kind of calls him out a little bit, right? Which no one can call them out, and he believably calls him out. So you kind of need an actor with some gravitas to tell Kurt Russell what he's doing wrong.
He's got a good screen presence.
Oh yeah, Locke, Lost, he's good. Stepfather.
The Stepfather.
Yep. I like the remake better. No. So anything else you want to cover? Like, is there anything in your notes that you really want to get onto before we get out of here?
It mostly is that, again, so I called Terry O'Quinn like maybe one of the weakest characters, but when you really think about everyone that has more than a few words of a single line in this movie, almost everybody is memorable, even if you don't remember their name, but you remember that character. Really appreciate, listeners, like any movie that you love, and ask yourself how well you remember all the characters that have basically more than a line, and and then how it was delivered. Did they stand up well to your main actors? And this, no one stands out as a weak acting link.
No, I so wanted to be Turkey Pete or Texas Pete or Turkey Jack.
I'm sorry. If there was a weak link, it's when the guy is translating the Spanish and Johnny Ringo has to say, "Your Spanish is as bad as your English." I was like, that guy might have been a weak link, but that was funny as well, and I remember it.
And it's a good way to build up your villain. So at the end, right, when the murdering spree is happening, I love those probably helicopter shots where Turkey Jack, Turkey Leg, Texas Hot Sauce Pete, and then, Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday are riding the horses. They're really riding those things, dude. Like, they're trucking on those. And Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell look good on those things. And then the director, Cosmatos, was like, I never thought I would ever see somebody shake hands while riding a horse. There's a scene where Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell are just riding next to each other, and they shake hands in a full gallop.
Yeah.
That made me respect them a lot more, because they were flying on those. Molehills be damned.
So... at the end of the movie, when Kurt Russell just, we kind of flash forward to Kurt Russell, I've said to Wyatt Earp marrying Josephine, and they explain that, that Maddie died from her addiction a couple years later, and then these two went off to have kids and lived until basically Wyatt Earp was 80 or something and died in 1929. But they're saying all these things. Did Wyatt Earp get an 1800s divorce from Maddie?
I mean,
they don't say that.
No, I think it was just the Wild West at the time, man. Maybe they shacked up for a while, and then his wife passed away. Yeah, that's gnarly.
And we touched on it just a little bit early in the discussion, but how do you feel about Josephine being such a smart missile targeting Wyatt Earp, known to be a married man, right away? I
had a bigger problem with her trying to explain that word to him when she.
She mansplained to him.
When
serendipitous.
Serendipitous. That means this. And he's like, I know that.
It's like, I know what it means.
That annoyed. See, I guess what I liked about it, she was just pretty unapologetic about it. So I didn't really worry about that, right? Like, she just said, all right, I'm getting him. All right, cool. But I hated more the explaining the word to him. I know that's
No,
weird.
I didn't like that myself. That felt. I understood why the character might have done that, but it doesn't mean that I liked it on screen.
I mean, they don't give her enough time, Dana Delaney. I mean, I think it's credit to her as an actress, just being likable. But they did not give her enough time to warrant their relationship did not have much time. That's probably, I mean, but they had to kind of cut something out. You can't spend another 15 minutes on that.
If so many characters are memorable, it's because a lot of people are getting screen time with a lot of lines.
Here's the thing, though. If we're going to love Doc Holliday, who in the beginning murders a guy, he's like, oh, we're on to another town. I guess we can't really have a problem with Dana Delaney, Josephine, looking at Kurt Russell and going, that's Kurt Russell. I'm getting him. Right?
I want one.
Yeah,
She said,
I want one. Yeah.
want one.
So, I mean, she, comparatively to everyone else in the town, I mean, Kurt Russell's like grabbing money from people. So he's making money on all these people going through hard times. So comparatively, I guess it's not that bad. But I don't like her explaining that word to him. That's the biggest annoyance. I hate it on both sides. On both sides, I hate it. I'm not saying because it's her to him. Like, on either one, it would be annoying.
She high society splained.
Yeah, there we go.
It was cute at the end. He's like, what are we going to do for money? She's like, my family is rich.
Well, hey, happy endings, right? All right, John. Last thoughts before we get out of here.
It's just like I said with True Lies. This is one of those movies that probably people who were 30 and under might have never gotten around to, and you'd think, why bother? There's so many movies out. But this is one of those movies that it got so much right almost all the time on the screen. Such a huge ensemble cast, all these memorable characters, some great confrontation scenes. Like, you got to see this.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's worth it. I love this movie.
If you like any of these actors today, I realize they're older now, right? But if you like any of these actors today or like any of their movies, please go see this.
Does it make your Kurt Russell top 5?
I think it probably would.
All right. So for me, I have what? Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing.
The Thing.
Right. And then you have,
right.
Geez Louise, I don't even think I could pick a lot of these. Escape from New York.
Gotta have The Thing in there, right?
Yeah. Oh, so I have Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing, Escape from New York. But I mean, I love Captain Ron. I love Miracle. I love, geez Louise, this is tough. I don't know, man. I love Escape from L.A. Tequila Sunrise. No, not Soldier.
I mean, I love Soldier, but it wouldn't be a top 5 for me.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd put it 5, maybe. What do you think it would be? Like, would you put it ahead of Big Trouble in Little China and The Thing?
I'm not necessarily ordering them, but my top 5, I'd have The Thing, I'd have Big Trouble in Little China, I'd have this, I'd have Captain Ron, and after that, I'd have to think about what would be the 5th thing that I'd put in my top 5. But those 4 would absolutely be in my top 5. No, not necessarily in any particular order. No, I can't order. The Thing is number 1. The Thing for me is number 1.
I mean, I'd put Bone Tomahawk in there in my top 5. Executive Decision, Stargate, Backdraft is good. Oh man, Used Cars. Yeah, you know what? I'd put it 5. I'd put it top 5. You know what? It fits in.
Top
5.
Top 5 KR.
Got top 5 KR in the morning.
Top 5 KR.
Hey, thanks for joining me, man.
Oh man.
So for Mark Hoffmeyer and for John Tank Levengood, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.